Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, the Kryptonian, saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 366. And I'm totally loving what Oda's doing here. It really feels like he's setting something up for something later on in the series. And what I'm talking about is the fact that you have all the different factions from Water 7. You have Iceberg's right-hand man, Paulie. You've got the people from the Franky family. They're all on the ship. And they're with Luffy, and after the sea train, the runaway sea train, the Rocket Man is just barreling full steam ahead, and they've gotten onto the train tracks at last. They're running face first into this huge tidal wave with no way to stop. They gotta go face first through it. Luffy is forming alliances, and I had a feeling this was coming. I said when they first got on the Grand Line, I saw some of the crazy people that they're going to be going up against. I said Luffy and the others, they'll have to form alliances. And lo and behold, look what we have right now. One of the lines that the Franky family said was, "We're in your debt now," okay? After their ship is being pulled with these huge horses that are strong enough to brave even the toughest seas, from what Kokoro said, and they've got this huge ship behind them with all these weapons. They said, "We're in your debt now." Like, holy shit, if Luffy and them get into some serious stuff, Luffy's got a weapons master, if you will, and now he's got somebody that builds ships, right? Because, you know, Iceberg is going to pay that forward, even though he's a mayor. Maybe a mayor over a city don't even exist anymore after this is over. But he's got ships and he's got weapons. And I could totally see a situation where Luffy gets into a huge mess and they end up helping him out. And maybe this is something that happens where after Luffy gets Robin and meets up with Sanji and Usopp and Franky again, maybe we'll get a situation where we actually see all the vice admirals and we see like the Navy ships lined up, the huge decimation that should happen. Luffy just shows up and he has those two in tow, where he's got the firepower of the Franky family and then all the ships that Iceberg can come up with. And it's just like, it goes from my dick is bigger than your dick to, dude, like, I've got a Mandingo sized dick, get the fuck out of my way. Like, I could see something like that, and that's a little crude. Hey, whatever, you know, you should be used to it by now. But this is the thing about that, right? Luffy overpowering the Navy at this point, not only would that add to his legend, okay, because he's on the same path that Gold Roger was on when Gold Roger, you know, ran the whole Grand Line. I could totally see Luffy's legend just exploding after all of these events are over, to where when people see a straw hat, they shit themselves. I could see Luffy getting that type of reputation, man. Like, where if you had two people fighting, Luffy could show up and just like, cut this shit out. And everybody just cuts this shit out. I could see something like that, because Luffy, like, god damn, I'm not a Luffy fanboy. A lot of you guys know I don't really care for Luffy's character, but I have a love-hate relationship with him. I feel like just as when I get tired of him, he does something like this to where I just fall in love with the character all over again. And what I thought was interesting is how Luffy was able to bring together two sides that normally wouldn't sit at the same table. And that's a leadership quality in itself. Like, Oda, after the Davy back fight, I really feel like, hell, going back to his time on Drum Island, where Vivi said, "You're not fit to be the captain of this ship." And it's when Dalton, I believe, said, "If you don't stand down, we're going to open up fire." And Vivi got shot after that. Like, just seeing how Luffy at that point got his eyes open, and then everything that happened with Alabasta and with Skypiea, and now here, like, after the Davy back fight, like, Luffy has definitely come into his own as a leader. I'm totally loving this. Like, this is one of those moments where I literally feel like I'm a parent. You know, I don't want kids for a while, right? Like, you know, I've just had this discussion. I don't want kids for like another probably 3 years. That give me some time to do more of what I want to do in life. But here's what's beautiful, right? I feel like I'm watching that child that I raised, right? And I just feel like I'm watching a child grow up and form his own opinion and form his own view of the world and start to build something like that. Like literally, I felt a great sense of joy when I was reading this chapter, because I was just like, holy fucking shit, I cannot believe what's happening right now. Like that's one of those things that hit me. And this is something, you know I got some older subscribers on here, and I know some of you guys hit me with the inbox questions and, you know, had some conversations. So I know some of you guys this does resonate, and I wonder if you guys can feel that same joy of, it feels like you're seeing a child grow up and come into his own. So with that being said, I do like the fact that you got T-Bone wacky as hell, okay? Like one of his guys has a scratch from a bug and he's bleeding, and he rips off his cloak and tells him to bandage the thing up. And I'm like, that's a bit extreme. That's somebody I would like to see Luffy fight, or maybe even Chopper. I could see those two having a pretty funny interaction. I don't think Chopper's quite at that level where he can take on a captain level fighter, but it has room for some pretty awesome interactions. And when he finds out that there's a intruder on the loose, potential intruder on the loose, but at the very least his two captors have gotten out, and he's like, we gotta find them. And Sanji's communicating with Nami, and Sanji's just like, yo, because of these two idiots, you know, we're being found out. And he's on the top of the sea train, and it's just like he's braving elements at this point. You know that he's got nowhere else to hide. So I mean, makes sense. I think it's really cool. It could be something like if they end up fighting, like kind of like if you go back to some of those old Western films where the guys on top of the trains are just swinging, throwing blows, and then you got the bridge that's coming out. Obviously, there's not a bridge right here, but I mean, just the fights on the train, that would be pretty cool, man. You know, because I believe I read somewhere that Oda does like Western, so that's pretty cool. And it would explain some of the stuff that I've read also. But that being said, I do like just the whole way that this train works, where Kokoro, she's literally the drunk driver, only she's not driving, because Kokoro is just like, I couldn't steer this thing if I wanted to. She's got the one point where she's making the announcement, and she's just like, yeah, this is going super fast right now, and I'm going to warn you, if you don't hold on to something, hey, you're going to get hurt even worse than you would if you would hold on to something. Nami's just like, what the fuck are you saying? I'm gonna get hurt regardless? Like, that was so cool to read that, because again, it's just that wacky element of One Piece where you can't help but love what you're falling into. Like, that was so perfect. And while this is going on, you got Luffy on the outside right there where the steam's being blown out. Luffy's just all in on this shit, and then once he gets inside, he's eating this meat and he's just like, damn, I'm really starting to rethink these seating arrangements. It's like, you should be rethinking the seating arrangements, you fucking dummy. Like, this is one of those Luffy big dummy moments. I'm really debating calling this Luffy big dummy volume. I guess this would be 5 at this point. But oh shit, this was so much fun as a chapter to read, man. And the fact that we're getting towards the end of the volume and the fun level has just continued to ramp up. It lets me know two things based on Oda's writing style, where if there's a fun element or there's a lot of humor, we're coming into either some really dark stuff, or dark by his standards, or we're coming into some real tense stuff. He likes to balance things. And so I'm really thinking that all this is setting up for some serious shit to go down. And I could totally see it based on where they're taking Robin. And also, you know, Robin's descent into hell is further continuing. And she's falling further and further. She's contemplating her own mortality right now. This is good. Like, this was some really good shit. And the potential that we might even see Baroque works there, like some of the numbered agents, or maybe even some of the people that Luffy's kind of run into in the past. This would, like, we have a lot of potential for what's going on. We have a lot of potential. Like, this is going to be very good. And the fact that they're right at the doorstep of the Navy headquarters, like, I'm totally hyped for where this is going. But my chapter question for you guys is going to be similar to the last one, only this time, out of everything that happened in this chapter, what was what did you think was the funnest aspect of this chapter? And what did you think was the wackiest aspect? So there's two parts to this question. But overall, pretty good chapter. If you like anything I had to say, guys, make sure you hit that comment button. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. Thank you for watching Kryptonian Saying, guys. Have an awesome day.